Well, I want to ask you, Dr. Ho, we all know people that maybe there's something a little off. They seem pretty normal and even likable, but something's a little off. What makes a serial killer snap?
Well, there is a combination of both biological and environmental stressors for sure throughout the lifetime, but what usually precedes immediately a killing is a extreme stressor. It could be external, like the person loses a job, gets a divorce, but it could also be something totally internal, which is what makes it harder for us to understand. And this is their interpretation of what's going on in the world. So they may think that somebody has hostile attentions towards them, and that person didn't even barely look at them, but they feel slighted, they feel rejected, and in that way, they have a justification to act on that. And what makes it even scarier is that oftentimes they have certain brain abnormalities that make it easier for them to deal with negative stimuli. So the amygdala, which is in control of our emotions, and our prefrontal cortex, which interprets those emotions, there's a disconnect there. They usually have less brain activity, so they just don't feel negative feelings the way that we would. And there's a decreased stimulation, so they need so much more stimulation just to feel the minimal excitement or happiness that we would feel from a great meal.
Very difficult to treat, though, isn't it?
Very difficult.
I mean, you can't, there's not a pill for it.
Absolutely, and the problem is most people with these severe personality disorders, part of the disorder is that they have very low insight about their own contributions to the problem. And so they see other people as the issue and they are the victims. And so in their minds, there's still a justification. And I say this all the time to try to get people to understand the minds of serial killers, is that in their mind, they're oftentimes not the bad person.
The one thing that we learned in this research is that, this is anyone out there watching, women who have been strangulated by their partner 7 times more likely to die by homicide. And I think that that's the one thing that's really important out there, because we may not always know if someone's going to snap, but I think there are certain things to look out for. Fascinating book, Claudia. Thank you for sharing it with us. And you can check out Claudia's entire story. The book is called The Spider and the Fly, and we're sending everyone in the audience home with a copy. Dr. Ho, thank you so much for being with us.